As we think about Christmas, there are three great Old Testament covenants that prepare our thoughts for the advent of Christ. There is the Abrahamic covenant, the Davidic covenant, and the new covenant. The Abrahamic covenant of Genesis 12, 1 to 3, culminating in verse 3, which says that in Christ all nations would be blessed. In Galatians chapter 3, verses 7 to 8, Paul applies that text to Christ, saying that in him, all who believe in him are eternally spiritually blessed. Then we have the Davidic covenant of 2 Samuel 7, verses 13 and 14, where David is promised that one would reign on David's throne forever. And that fulfillment, as we look at the New Testament, is applied in Luke chapter 1, verses 32 to 33, where we have the statement that Christ would reign over the house of Jacob forever, and of his kingdom there would be no end. And so the New Testament applies the Davidic covenant to Christ, and it is significant also that Paul in Romans 1 applies the resurrection as the moment of the inauguration of that eternal kingship of Christ. Paul says it was through that great resurrection that Jesus Christ was declared mightily to be the Son of God and the descendant of David who would have an eternal kingdom. Then finally, there is the new covenant of Jeremiah 31. In that new covenant, there is the promise that one would take away sins forever. And as we look at the new covenant, Jesus said, "This is the blood of the new covenant," at the Last Supper. And in Hebrews chapters 8 through 10, we really have an explanation of how Christ fulfills the new covenant. Through his divine sacrifice, he provides a basis for sins to be forgiven forever. And so as a result of that, we are encouraged by the writer of Hebrews to draw near to God with a heart of worship and adoration because of what Christ has accomplished. He's opened the way, the writer of Hebrews says, through the veil, which is his flesh. And what a beautiful, encouragement that the writer of Hebrews gives us as we think about Christmas, and that these covenants provide that Jesus is the one who brings us that eternal blessing. He is the seed of Abraham. He is the Davidic king who reigns forever and ever. And finally, he provides a new covenant where sins are remembered no more. And it's, as the writer of Hebrews says, let us draw near now with a pure heart in worship. We are reminded of the great, carol, "Oh, come, let us adore him."